Bluford Duck and Belle Starr were Old West outlaws whose lives were at one point intertwined. If you are a fan of Lonesome Dove, the name Bluford Duck probably sounds familiar. The villainous character in the Western miniseries, Blue Duck, was loosely based on the real-life outlaw Bluford Duck, who was also known as Blue Duck. The history of the life of Blue Duck is sketchy and lends itself to a lot of hearsay and speculation, and separating fact from fiction is a bit tricky. Here's the information I was able to piece together. Bluford Blue Duck was born in 1858 in what is present-day Outlaw, Oklahoma. That area was known at the time as the Indian Territory due to the fact that multiple tribes had been relocated to the area. He was Cherokee Indian and spent his life involved in crime. Like Bluford, Belle Starr's main claim to fame is that her lifetime was devoted to criminal activities. Her life is more documented. Consequently, I will be able to provide more information about her prior to tying the two together later in the video. Myra Maybelle Shirley was born on February 5, 1848, near Carthage, Missouri, on her father's farm. In the 1860s, he sold the farm and moved the family into town in Carthage, where he operated a livery stable and blacksmith shop on the square. In 1864, the family moved to Syene, Texas. Legend has it that while in Syene, the Shirley family started associating with other Missourians of dubious reputation, to include the James brothers and Younger brothers. Belle had previously known both sets of outlaw brothers during her time in Missouri. In 1866, while living in Texas, Belle married a known criminal, Jim Reed. It seems that she almost always was attracted to the criminal element, and that more or less defined her life. In 1868, she had her first child, a girl named Rosie Lee. During those days, she was known for her strong sense of fashion. It was known for riding side saddle while wearing a black velvet dress, plumed hat, and carrying 2 pistols with cartridge belts across her hips. Because of her husband's criminal activities, he was wanted for murder in Arkansas. The family moved to California, where their second child, James Edwin, was born in 1871. Later, the family moved back to Texas, and Reed fell in with a notorious Cherokee Indian family, the Starr clan, which was known for selling illegal whiskey and stealing cattle and horses. Her first husband was killed in August 1874 in Paris, Texas, where he had settled the family. In 1880, Belle married a Cherokee Indian named Sam Starr, and they settled in the Indian Territory and continued the criminal enterprise that Sam's family was known for. She became an integral player in their crimes, being proficient at organizing and planning and eventually fencing the ill-gotten gains. In 1883, Belle and Sam were arrested by famous Deputy U.S. Marshal Bass Reeves. As a side note, I have a previous YouTube video about Bass Reeves. I'll put a link to that video in the comment section of this video. They were tried by the hanging judge Isaac Parker in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and found guilty. Belle served 9 months in the Detroit House of Corrections and was released after 9 months after she proved to be a model prisoner. On the other hand, Sam proved to be just the opposite and assigned hard labor. In 1886, she eluded conviction on another theft charge. On December 17, 1886, Sam was killed by his cousin, who was a law officer. Her life as an outlaw queen ended with Sam's death. Now the story of how the two outlaws became linked. On June 23, 1884, Bluford Duck and a fellow outlaw shot an innocent young farmer for no apparent reason. Blue Duck was sentenced to hang for the murder. During that time, his lawyer felt that a picture with the now famous Belle Starr could be helpful in getting his sentence reduced. It is unclear how a picture with another known criminal could be helpful in Duck's defense, but the now famous picture was taken. Even though there were tales of a romantic relationship between Blue Duck and Belle Starr, most historians believe that the two never met prior to the photo and had no interaction afterwards. For whatever reason, Judge Parker commuted his death sentence to life imprisonment, and he was committed to the Menard Penitentiary in Chester, Illinois in 1886, quote, for the term and period of his natural life, end quote. In 1895, he developed consumption and was pardoned by President Cleveland. He died shortly after his release. Belle Starr's death was more violent. She was shot with a shotgun. The circumstances of the shooting, as well as the shooter, are unknown. One account says she was on her way home from a friend's house, and another says she was on her way home from a dance. There are more than a few suspects, including another Cherokee Indian she married after Sam's death, both her two children, and possibly a sharecropper. However, the crime was never solved and remains a mystery to this day. Bluford Duck is buried in the Richard Duck Cemetery in Catoosa, Oklahoma. Belle Starr is buried in a private cemetery near Porum, Oklahoma. Thus ends the story of two Old West outlaws who chose to live on the other side of the law. If you enjoyed this video, give a thumbs up, make a comment, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. As always, thanks for watching.